sometimes I think there are comics that are so talented that they don't respect it.
Yeah, or
sometimes
they're so talented that they don't put that like work into like promoting themselves.
Right.
They're like, oh, I'm so talented, and they're correct. They're like,
Right.
that will carry me, but
It doesn't.
there is like a part where like networking and promoting,
Yeah.
you do have to do that.
Yeah.
And sometimes the less talented comics realize they have to do that.
Right.
And then they put their energy into promoting or taking cool pictures at shows or whatever
Right.
the fucking shit that people do.
Yeah.
And it works.
Yeah.
They're not wrong to do it.
I always thought it's like you're better off to be like that in that middle ground of talent.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
You'd rather have like a B talent and then be able to realize
Because
that.
you have to work for it.
Yeah, exactly. The
you
people
know?
who just I know people I started with who were effortlessly funny,
Yeah.
and because of that, they just kind of quit
Yeah.
because they got jaded. That why is my effortless talent not allowing me to get booked? Well,
Because
you
no
never-
one cares.
No
really.
one cares,
Yeah.
and you never sent an email to someone. They're like,
yeah.
they'll come to me, and they should, but that's not how it works, unfortunately.
Yes, it's not the 50s. There's not like some fat guy smoking a cigar in the back, like you got it, kid.
Yeah. I heard Dave's pretty good. Yeah, we gotta go find him. It's like you gotta send the honey out to get the bees. Yeah,
Totally.
or whatever. People, I was very naive about that for a while. I was like, well, I killed at the showcase on Thursday. Everyone knows about it. Everyone in New York heard about it, even though I live in Chicago. They all know.
Yeah.
But then you're like, oh, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
That's one nice lesson of comedy. You learn, like, after I'm doing it almost 10 years now, you learn that, like, no single show really
Right.
matters. Like, I used to get really nervous, like, oh, it's who the booker is in the crowd. It's like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
No, the idea that, like, one night will make or break your career is, I
Right.
think that hasn't been true for, like, 20 years probably.
Yeah. You're almost going to do better by just like not caring.
Just
you
not
know?
care, have fun, and do the thing you've been doing, and
Yeah.
hopefully someone will see it. But
Yeah.
that you're not gonna like in the old days, it was true that like one night could change your life,
Right.
but there's no real path in comedy anymore, so that's
Yeah.
just not in anything really. You're not
Yeah.
late night doesn't really matter anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd love to do it, but it's not like what it used to be.
Right. And yeah, I mean, I always try to have the mentality of like I'm competing with myself more than anything.
Yeah,
You know?
you can't look at like there's no like what's it called? Like people have like I used to have like a scarcity mentality. You're like, oh,
Yeah.
if that guy got that, then that means I can't get it. It's like
Right.
that's
It's
not
done-
true.
Yeah, it doesn't work that way.
They got a
no.
Netflix special. That means I can't. It's like they just an infinite amount of Netflix specials. You
Right.
can or make your own on YouTube. There's no
Yeah.
quota anymore. It's not like in
Yeah.
the old days where there was one guy a week did Carson or
Yeah.
one guy a week did Letterman, and that's it.
Yeah. When I watched, have you seen the Comedy Store documentary?
I actually did not watch that yet. I heard it's good.
It made me like almost physically ill.
Really?
Because
because of like how they had a path or whatever.
Oh, it was just like as much as I've had problems coming up. It's like thank God it didn't start in that.
Oh, it was
time.
harder,
Just-
you think?
Not necessarily harder. It was just like if certain people didn't like you, you were done.
Right.
You were done.
That like
You know.
gatekeeper thing isn't
Yeah.
as big of a deal anymore.
Yeah.
Like if like Mitzi Shore like thought you talked weird, it didn't matter
It's
what
like-
you did.
Yeah.
Right.
And there was literally a thing in there where it was like she didn't like tall people.
Oh, really?
Just like
So you were done. You were like,
Dude.
doesn't matter what you could do.
yeah,
Right. Yeah. Who's a tall older comedian
yeah.
from LA? And I can't. So like because of that, she just didn't pass them.
Yeah.
That's so weird.
And there's a famous story about Louis, and Louis was great at this time. This wasn't like in the 80s. Like this was like in the early 2000s, I think.
Yeah.
He tried to get past there.
Really.
And she didn't even finish his set. She was like, I don't like him.
Really?
Yeah.
And then that's crazy.
And people were telling her like, this is Louis C.K.
This is
He's
the
like
guy.
one of the best. He's like the best comic in New York or whatever.
She's like, that's crazy. And you're like, and that because we think like, oh, Mitzi Shore founded the Comedy Store. She must have the best taste in comedy. And it's
Right.
like, this is all very subjective. I mean,
Yeah.
she had good taste in some people, but it's not everything's not for everyone.
Right.
Which is the worst part of comedy.
Yeah, exactly.
How subjective it is.
But that's what's great is like your special coming out like on YouTube. I mean, it just I think a healthy mentality when I try to maintain is like the thing standing between me and some potential success is a solid hour.
Right. Just have
that I can
have a good
put
hour. And
on
people
YouTube,
love stand up now. It's like
Yeah.
we're in a golden age. We're in like the second golden age of stand up right now. Like
Yeah.
people love to watch just like unknown comics specials.
And so many of them are bad. That's the thing. It's like
there's a lot of bad ones, so you can stand out. I mean, there's a lot of bad.
And I know
specials.
yours is great. I've seen most of it.
We hope so. We hope so. I think it will be. Like my friend Ronan Hirschberg, he put out a special.
Oh, he's incredible.
He's amazing.
He's so
good. He's one of those guys. I'm like, oh, he should be.
Oh yeah,
doing stadiums.
He's so good.
And I hope he will one day. And his like specials got a few 100,000 views.
Yeah.
With not really much like he doesn't have that many followers or anything. So it does.
But it'll grow.
The cream does rise to the top. It does. In the end, it might take a little while, but it does get there.